Cindy Dole here, Home Wizards, every Saturday 2 to 4. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. And we love talking about anything that has to do with the home, so you know where you can come. By the way, when you're listening and you miss something, you want to hear it again, just go to the website, cindydole.com. We have all the shows there in the on-air section. And if you'd like to call in and join in the conversation, you can at 888-539-2980, 888-539-2980. So we set up this segment with that great show song, of course, from Friends, because when you watch all those shows, whether it is the reruns of Friends or the newer shows, like I'm still so hooked on Mad Men. We're waiting for the new season to come, but I'm watching it through Netflix, loving all that. Or a movie, I just love seeing The Bridesmaids. I mean, when you watch the sets that are in the movie or in the TV show, I mean, there's so much detail and so much attention that goes into that. I thought it'd be fun to talk about how these professionals do it and how it kind of sucks us into the storyline, but then at the same time, we find ourselves looking at it and going, whoa, maybe we should have that in our home too. So it's kind of a twofold thing. So with me is a woman who just loves her job, Cynthia Charette. She's a production designer, but also a home designer, an interior designer,
Yes.
and she juggles both worlds. So great to have you here, Cynthia.
Thank you.
And
It's nice to be here.
You're smiling ear to ear. You obviously love your job.
I love what I do.
Fun stuff, right?
Yes, I love it.
So tell everybody about some of the shows that you're working on right now. It's first for TV.
Oh, for TV. Okay. TV, I haven't done anything in the past year on TV. I just finished this film that was out this summer called Judy Moody.
We see that everywhere on the buses.
Oh, and that film was so much fun. It's, there's very successful book series.
Yeah.
And we took the books and created it for film, and we had the most magical creative fun time. We did custom wallpapers, which will be going on sale.
Oh.
We did custom everything. We built so many props and sculptures, and it's a kids movie. And so it was a lot of fun, but that doesn't relate so much about what I do with interior design, which is a much more fun, glamorous, comfortable feel for interiors.
Right. But both worlds, you have a budget to face.
You have a budget and you have time constraints.
Yeah.
And, when you're working in film, you have a budget and you have a schedule. And sometimes, and this happens a lot also in television, I've worked on television series where you can get a script and they're late on the script and they deliver it at 5 p.m. and those sets need to be ready in 2 days or the next day. And you have to be able to work at that kind of schedule.
Wow.
And be very flexible.
So, but how much lead time do you get to know the storyline? Because you've got to be true to the period and you've done some scary movies too, right?
Yes.
Some Wes Craven.
Yes, some Wes Craven
Wow.
stuff. I had so much fun on that because what I did when I did the Wes Craven film is I was like, Wes, what if because it was, it was a Freddy Krueger. It was his last one. And I said, what if we...
See, I can't imagine talking to Freddy Krueger. Wes.
I know. I was like, Wes, come on. Can we just instead of putting him in the boiler room, let's do something more interesting. What if we study history and the concept of evil? And it's been around forever. And so I took research and I studied Dantes Inferno and blah, blah, blah. And what happens is he loved the idea so much is he rewrote the script to allow us to go into this fantasy world of Dante's Inferno. And, to basically, stories are stories, concepts, metaphors, everything are true throughout time. And that's what I wanted to get at. It's to try and give it a little bit more intellect. And there's huge fans. People love that movie. They love Pumpkinhead. They still say to me, you did Pumpkinhead. And it's so funny of all the films I've done.
So what did you do for Pumpkinhead?
Pumpkinhead, same thing. I created this sort of, you go into this fantasy world where there's a scene in the movie. It's kids go into the woods, okay? And it's they're looking for Pumpkinhead, who's supposedly buried in this graveyard. And I said, what if we built this burial mound so the actor has to climb up burial mound, like an Indian burial mound, and the whole concept of making it very dramatic to get to this scary product that you want to see. And that's what we ended up doing, which makes it so much more dramatic. And that's what you do in film. You take the words, and television also, you take the words and you go, how can I visually make this more interesting and visually pull the audience in to get the story told? And one of the things with the Academy, I'm a member of the Academy, and they recently had a lecture series on production design. It was very interesting. And one of the things that they talked about was silent films and how silent films really were the production designers, if you think about it, because it's a visual medium. There were no, there's some words you read, but you could, without those words, understand the story without a script. Do you see what I'm saying?
Sure.
And, it goes back to that. And I came from theater design. And so with theater design, you read scripts, stories, whatever. And you, with your imagination, think, how am I going to create this concept? What am I going to do visually to make the audience drawn in?
And so for every set or every design, whether it's a spooky movie or it's a sitcom or what, a love story, whatever, in the living room and in the bedroom, I mean, you have to not only make it look like the character belongs there, right?
Yes.
But maybe also kind of give us some cues as to what could happen later, because it's a little bit more.
That's what we love. That's what my set decorator and I, we just bounce back and forth when we're coming up with, and art director, all of us, and we brainstorm. And I call it, if you know what charrette means you're brainstorming. And I was like, I never knew that, but I've been doing that my whole life. It's just you throw ideas back and forth. How can we make this story be told? And where can let's put a pencil here and a cup here, and that's going to foreshadow what may happen, which you see in films. The clue that you saw, why did she leave that book there? Why is that book open? Why is the book purple? Why is it green? Why is it in leather? Every detail that you see on a film is thought of if you're doing your job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what's fun, is to get down to the very nth detail to tell that story.
And it has to be so authentic too, right? I mean, it has
to be
down to the food. Like if it's a kitchen scene, the food that they're eating from that period. I mean, let's say Mad Men, the TV show.
Mad Men is a great example.
I mean, they're not going to have a certain cereal that we would have now. It'll probably be an older cereal from the 60s or whatever. It has to have
One
all
of the
those
best
details.
examples of that recently came out was Mildred Pierce. Did you see that on HBO?
No.
Phenomenal production design, costume, everything. Kate Winslet starred in it. Great series. But the food, I was so impressed with. I was like, man, they have a great production designer. They have a great prop stylist, because the food from the 1940s, the plate was correct. The way that, they used to serve, you'd see in those, remember the magazines?
Yeah.
That you'd see the photo still of, a meatloaf with potato, with peas, the kind of stuff that we don't eat like that now.
Well, the groups.
But just the way it looked, the food groups.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love it. This person, they did it, and I really appreciate when I see good work, I love it.
So when you go to a movie or when you're watching TV at the end of the day, you probably look at both genres in a totally different way, right? I mean, you're probably
you have to understand what they're doing. Yes.
Yeah.
For instance, I have a film coming up that I'm going to start working on. It's called Long Time Gone, and it's based on a book, Angel, which is a beautiful book. And this is a small independent film that's going to be done in Los Angeles, but it's a drama. And they're going to try and bring a little bit of humor to it, but that's a different way. You put on a whole different, you turn the channel as compared to when I was working on Judy Moody, which is a very whimsical, lighthearted, fun, joyful thing. This way, for instance, this story is about a woman who, which Meg Ryan's going to star in it, and her husband has left her after 20 years of marriage. And so we open with her in the bedroom, in the bed, and she's depressed for a month. So what am I going to do to pull the audience in with that visual? You see, and so I'm already, you start thinking about, what are the colors of the wall? Is there a pattern on the wall? What color is the sheet? How is the lamp? Is the lamp on? I mean, these kind of we think about everything.
And it isn't just about the personality or whatever they're going through in that time period, right? Because she's depressed, but also what's happening in that society of the time.
Exactly. And you want to also show her life, the 20 years of living. Like there's a scene that starts on the stairway going up with the pictures on the wall of the family, the nice family, which we've seen, but we're talking about how can we do that differently. But you have to show a sense of history, why she's so broken and despondent, and then where she's going to go from here, and to start showing, because eventually she will start moving ahead. Life gets better. We have things like simple things like the grass in the front yard becomes overgrown. Okay. all this stuff that is, I like to think of it as a painting. Like if you think of Andrew Wyeth or someone like it, he is my inspiration for this particular film that I'm going to start working on. Is like, just look at the visuals of what that does, and you wonder what the story is when you see a painting like that.
Well, when we come back, because I mean, you're also as an interior designer. I mean, do you ever go to the movies and get inspiration for design from seeing other people's set design? So we're going to talk about that, and where do you shop for some of these things? I'm guessing you cut corners. There's got to be some sneaky things you do for TV and film. So don't you go away. We're talking with Cynthia Charette, who is all about brainstorming and being creative as a production designer and interior designer, and we're learning how she does it for Hollywood and how she does it for everyday homes. Home Wizards is here. The number is 888-539-2980. We're back right after this.
Here on Gilligan's Island. So this is the tale of our castaways. They're here for a long, long time.
Yes, that Hollywood magic, you know, the stuff that is all the details of a great show and a great movie. It's the stuff that makes the characters in the show look like that's their home, and it makes us want to be in that home, and all of a sudden we're sucked in, and before you know it, we want to then copy it maybe in our own home. And with me is a woman who has so much fun getting to do all this for a number of films and TV shows, but also for homeowners who are looking for help, because she's also an interior designer as well as a production designer, Cynthia Charette. So thanks for sharing some of your secrets. So tell us, where do you shop? Let's say you had to do, well, you're going to be doing this movie for Meg Ryan, and you had to create this, depressing bedroom. Where are you going to shop for that? Do you find some secretive little places?
Yeah, you try your best to find those secretive places. I mean, we know the Rose Bowl and flea markets I love. We do look online, but thrift stores are great. You just have to really look through them.
But you have to know the period,
You
right?
have to know the period, know what you're looking for. This is a middle-class East Coast family home. So there will be shapes and forms, on the East Coast, lamps and tables are so, have a sense of history with them, and the shape and the form of the leg and whatever, that you don't see so much out here in California homes unless you're mixing things, which I love to do, So.
And in terms of then coming up with maybe cutting a corner, let's say, because you had a tight budget for a TV show or a film, what would be some of the sneaky things that you would do to still make it look glamorous or still make it look like that character belonged there, but no one but you knows what you did?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to know about television, and especially television and film, is you only see it for shorter. You have a moment to make a visual known. So for me, if I'm cutting corners, it's going to be a broad stroke, like the color on the wall. And you can do so much with your home just through color. There's so many beautiful, simple wallpapers out there now. Wallpapers are not scary like they used to be, the overpowering. Those are ways, a beautiful lamp. There's so much on the internet that you can find. But the most important thing to know about when doing your home is to really be aware of the scale and the proportion. What the mistake that most people make is they buy a chair or a sofa, even though they measure it in the showroom, and it still is too big. And I just had this happen recently. I just finished a office design, and I had the install yesterday. And this client that I had done her house before, she went and went to Room and Board or Crate and Barrel and just picked out some stuff. Ends up, everything would not even fit in the office. The sofa, the two chairs, everything. It was a room about two chairs and a sofa. You could not walk in the room. So she called me and she's like, "Can you come over and help me?" And I'm like, "Girl, I'll come help you. We'll get that stuff out of there and we'll wrap it up." So we got the stuff out of there. But this was tight too, because it was on a budget and it was a lot of hard work, and I really care about detail. And when you're trying to do stuff on a budget with not a lot, you'll go to Crate and Barrel, CB2, West Elm. You'll go to all these places, but what happens is you got to be careful that you mix it up. Put a piece of vintage, like a vintage antique dresser or a vintage lamp. And I'm not, when I say vintage, I don't mean 1940s, 50s, 60s. It can be any period. Something that's going to look good with a modern glass end table. And that's how you break the spell of a catalog look. you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what people have to be, because there's so many great design shows now. We all think we can do it, and we look at it and we're learning so much, and it is great. I watch them. I love them.
Yeah.
I watch them all, and I'll stop and I study and I see what I like about it and what went wrong, and that's what I think the audience can most do is stop, pause. We all have a remote. Pause the frame, look at it. When you see something you like, what do you like about that? And it's not just the color and all of that. A lot of times it'll be, oh, look how tall this lamp is and how low the table is with chair and all. It's learning how to put that together.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
in terms of design trends that you probably monitor for your interior design work, how important are trends in the TV and film design world that you live in when you're setting up
it's
trends to that period? No,
not so much. Your design for TV and film is driven by the script. Everything is driven by the script. So if the script calls for, it's a she designer who has a great office, yeah, you can have fun and do something very glamorous and of the moment in her office. That's really fun. But the script is calling for that.
Got it.
So you be right on par as to what's happening with, the walls are gray,
well, like
the lamp is white.
the color of the year.
What's happening? Yellow is big, gray is big. What's happening right now? But when you do a period film, you do your research and one of my favorite films is Pride and Prejudice, the one that was done by Joe Wright a few years ago in 2006, the most beautiful period film. It's a beautiful story, but you look at the production design and I could watch it a million times. Yeah, it's just the wallpaper, the period. It's so
Does it make
beautiful.
you want to live there? And
yes.
Is that how your house looks? Is that
no,
what? No,
my house is a mix. It's definitely a mix, but I love 1940s.
Yeah.
And the old Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
And I'm getting ready to have a birthday, a very important birthday, and I'm hoping I'm going to have a 1940s party, a Hollywood party theme.
Sounds
and
elegant.
make people dress up. Which I think will be fun.
Very fun.
Yeah, but I wish I was. But of course, I'm a woman production designer. It was different at that time. It was a male-oriented business.
Sure.
I was one of the first production designers in the 80s as a female to come up, and it's great that it's come so far. But I would have loved to been alive and been a designer at that period. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
When they had musicals and. When filmmaking was just so, it was a whole studio system and they really cared about every detail. We still do, but it was a different
and
world.
elegance.
Elegance.
Yeah.
It was all about that.
Well, we're all about jeans, now.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, as we're watching TV and film, how can we learn from the beautiful designs that you do for Hollywood in terms of not only, isn't that neat, it's sucking me into the show, isn't that neat, I believe that character really lives that way, or I believe that's of the period, but in terms of just the style, everyone talks about Mad Men, how it's just so retro and funky, from the tulip table to the mushroom lamp and the all white, and there's kind of that style's almost coming back now, What can we learn from different shows just to kind of create our own sense of style?
Well, I think in order to learn, you have to, what speaks to you is the biggest thing, because there's so many styles, and Mad Men speaks to a lot of people. I love that style. So when you see it, what do you love? Again, what do you love about it? Pause the picture frame. I pause all the time. I take photos. I study what I'm seeing in that photo because it's hard to catch it.
Yeah.
So study that table, that lamp, that ashtray.
And you can
study it.
And you can find those things.
You can
can't you?
find it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can go out and search, and you can really learn how to do this, but you have to study and not just quickly glance over it.
So really, we can live on our own TV show or movie if we want to.
You totally can. Yes.
How fun. Well, your website is, tell them about what your website is.
My website is CharetteDesigns.com with an S. And it's currently having a little glitches today, but my webmaster is working on it, and I would love for you guys to check it out.
Yeah, and so you're involved with the Academy, and in addition to interior design and these shows and movies, it just goes on and on, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I love what I do.
Yeah. And so the Meg Ryan movie, we'll watch for that. Anything else we should watch for? To look for the set designs, the production designs that Cynthia did.
Not that I can think of right now.
No more Wes Craven
No
movies?
more Wes Craven. I moved on from that.
Yeah.
Got into comedy, been doing a lot of comedy, and now I'm hoping to do more drama.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck to you. It's been fun talking to you. I love what you guys do. I mean, it really is an art, and that's why there's an Oscar. Have you won an Oscar?
Not
Brother?
yet.
You haven't? Okay, come on, come on, everybody, because it really, without that and the makeup, I mean, that's what really, and the hair. I mean, it all just brings you into that moment. It takes you away.
Yeah, thank you. It does.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks again. And coming up next Saturday, we're going to talk more about some great things. Even though it is Carmageddon here into the Southland, we're going to talk about more ways to make the spaces you call home great inside and outside. And I hope that when you listen today and you heard some things that inspire you, that you'll try them. Like, for instance, we were talking with David Snow about growing your own veggies from seed. I mean, we can do this. And I loved his idea of using that plastic container that you get at the restaurant with your leftovers in it, to take that home, to punch some drainage holes in the bottom of it, and this is where you're going to plant your initial seeds, and you're going to put that in a larger tray that will be almost like a little saucer, to then put water at the bottom. It'll soak it up, and you're going to have, before you know it, some nice little sprouts. And before you know it, maybe in 3 months, you'll have your own little tomato from seed. So fun things you learn all the time here on Home Wizards, so hope you can catch us next Saturday from 2 to 4. Be sure to go to the website, cindydole.com. Have a great weekend. Don't do too much, but do a little bit of something for yourself and for your home. And until next time, remember this: the key's under the mat. Bye-bye.